Portugal?
Yes, I am as well. I'm an immigrant.
Just looking at the chicken and the rooster behind you.
Yes, yes. It's actually from the mainland. It's good luck in your kitchen.
From which part of Portugal?
Oh gosh, it's just north of Lisbon, between Lisbon and Porto. Yeah. Oh, we've got some people waiting. So I've got, let's see, we've got the session recording. Yeah, very good. Okay, I'll start admitting people and then we'll do an introduction and away you go. Good morning. My name is Paul Macedo. I'm the communications officer with Can-Do, and you are in the webinar Wednesday session for government procurement. I'm just admitting some more guests into the room. And once we've got that set, then I'll make introductions of Daniel and we'll start with our session. Hello and welcome to Can-Do's Webinar Wednesday. This session is on government procurement, doing business with the Government of Canada and tapping into the $20 billion of annual business and contracts that are awarded. My name is Paul Macedo. I'm the communications officer with Can-Do.
Battery 70%. Connected to Jack's MacBook Pro and iPhone.
Okay, we're going to have to mute Jack. So this is part of our regular Wednesday webinar sessions. I'm just admitting some more guests into the room and we'll get started in about a minute or so. Just want to make sure that you are in the right session. This is the session on government procurement, on doing business with the federal government and tapping into the $20 billion in goods, services, and construction. This session is going to be recorded, and the recording as well as the presentation slides will be made available after the session is over. You just go to the Can-Do website, edo.ca/links to learning, and go to the Wednesday webinar, and the recording and presentation materials will be there for viewing and for downloading. Welcome, everyone. This is the weekly Wednesday webinar series by Can-Do. My name is Paul Macedo, Communications Officer. I'm introducing to you our presenter for today, Daniel Sandoz, who is with the Office of Small and Medium Enterprises in Pacific region. Daniel will be presenting today on government procurement, doing business with the federal government and tapping into the $20 billion of annual contracts that are awarded in goods, services, and construction. Daniel, take it over.
Good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you are in Canada. My name is Daniel Sandoz. First of all, I want to acknowledge that I'm calling in from Victoria, the traditional territories of the Songhees and the Esquimalt Nation. So welcome on webinar on government procurement. Has any one of you already done business with us? I hear laughter coming back from
Jack Smith here. I just wondered if you could actually see if we were acknowledging. Yeah, no, I have not done business with Canada.
Has anyone else done business with Canada? Good morning. Have you done, there's someone looking at me. Let's try to find out. Have you done business with Canada?
I haven't.
Okay.
This is James.
Hi, James. Morning. Oh, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
I see there's still people coming in, so I will wait until
Yeah, there's still a few people joining in.
Battery 60%.
Like I mentioned before, I'm working for the Office of Small and Medium Enterprise here in the Pacific region of. Doesn't let me move my slide. Need to go here. Hi. I've seen you on an ideas webinar, I think 2 weeks ago. Let me see on how I can make that I can actually share my screen. If for now it didn't let me. So can you see the slides?
No, right now, Daniel. You had it before, but it's not showing now.
Okay, then let's go back. Let's take the sharing back. Can you see my screen now? Can you see that?
It looks like it's starting to load. Yeah, there we go. We can see it now, Daniel.
The Office of Small and Medium Enterprise here in the Victoria office. I have colleagues in the Vancouver office. We have colleagues across Canada. We have a sister office in Edmonton, then who does all the prairie provinces. We have one in Toronto. We have one in Ottawa. We have one in Montreal. We have one in Atlantic region as well. So what are we doing? We support small and medium enterprises in explaining on how the federal procurement process works. What you need to look at, where you should put some emphasis, where you need to put time in it to know, because it's a more complicated process than if you do a bit, if you buy something or sell something to another individual in Canada. We also engage and assist small businesses in getting to know where do you have barriers and how we can help you reduce and how we can reduce barriers for you and how we can make procurements easier and simpler in Canada. Again, I'm running into issues with moving the slides. So what are the objectives of our meeting today? It's to understand the procurement processes. It's not only one. There's for low dollar values, there's one process, and then we have a process for everything that is posted, so above the thresholds, which are posted on our website, buyandsell.gc.ca, which is the government's tender website. Over the next coming 2 years, we will be migrating from the buyandsell.gc.ca website to Canada Buys. Canada Buys is based on SAP Ariba, which is used around the world by a lot of large corporations and governments. We will be looking at on where and how to register your company if you want to do business over our department. So everything that's posted, and we do the contracting on behalf of other departments, are posted on our website. There's some parts of government who don't use our website when they have large contracts, like Defense Construction Canada, they use their own. You will also notice that some other companies like Merck's, some other websites, have some of our federal tenders on their website. That's because they go and feed from our website. So if you want to have the most up-to-date information, go to buyandsell.gc.ca. You can access the website. You don't need to register. It doesn't cost anything. So you can look at everything, and it doesn't cost anything. Some other websites like Merck's, they ask you for a membership or a fee. We'll be looking on how to find opportunities and what you have to look at if you bid on an opportunity. So the government of Canada is one of the largest buyers here in Canada, and our department, Public Services and Procurement Canada, we buy, I would say, 2/3 of what Canada buys is bought over our department. So we are the buyer for all other, on major contracts for all other departments and agencies of the federal government. So we spend around $15 to $20 billion a year. And you ask yourself, as a small business, do I have a chance? Do I get a share? Yeah, most contracts actually go to small enterprises. And yes, if you're a micro company or a small business, sole proprietor, yes, you can do business with the government of Canada. So as I mentioned, all our the large contracts over $25,000 are posted on the Buy and Sell website. So what you see now on the screen are the delegated authorities we got from other departments. So for goods, everything over 25,000 gets posted on our website. For services and in construction projects, it's $2,400,000 for construction projects, for which then we take over the procurement authority from other departments. So registering your company, I would actually rather show you where it is on the website, if that's okay with you, instead of going through the slides, because I will be giving Paul all the links you will need to go to what we talk about today. So I would rather go and show you that on the website, on where you will find that information. Is that okay with you? Or would you rather me going through all the slides? What is your preference?
I have no preference. Please, whichever way you think might inform us the best.
I think going on the website and show you exactly where you will find things is more useful.
Okay.
So I would just quickly interrupt the sharing so I can actually go and open the website. So now I'm going back to sharing. 1 second. It will take a few seconds until you see it on your screen.
Yeah, it's up, Daniel.
Okay. So that's the buyandsell.gc.ca. That's our website, which we currently use for all the major procurements. So now you have decided you want to do business with the government of Canada, you want to do business over our department. So you see an opportunity and it says that the contracting authority is with us. So the first step you need to do is to register yourself as a business. So how do I register as a business with the government of Canada, or specifically if I do business over Public Services and Procurement Canada? So we go on the website and here is a tab, and then register as a supplier. Then it's the supplier registration information system. It takes you over to the next side. Then here it says in small print, you can see start registration. So what information do you need to register yourself as a business with our department? You will need this, your HST or GST tax number and the legal name under which it's registered. And then you click on this. So you will start with the 9 first digits of your tax number, the GST, HST number. Forget about the rest in the back, which says RT and then 001. Forget about that part. Just take the first 9 digits. You will need to add them here where it says BN. So that's your business number. At the end, what you will get out of the whole process is a procurement business number. So you will need to add this here. I cannot answer it because you don't have any dummy companies, but that's exactly where you will put in your 9 digits. Then you click on start registration. Then on the next screen, it will ask you for the legal name of your business. So that's the name which is associated with this tax number. If you have an accent or an apostrophe or anything or a space somewhere in the name of your business, you need to enter it exactly the way it is registered with CRA. If you have a space somewhere, you need to put the space exactly the same spot. Then you need to add your name and your email address. Click on send, and it goes to CRA for verification that the number and the name matches. If it doesn't match, you will get an email saying it doesn't match. Then you will need to call the help desk so that they can do the matching back. If it matches, you will get an email saying number and name have been verified. You can now proceed with the second part of your registration. That's when you add all other information necessary as about your business. That's where you also can put a check mark that you're an indigenous business. And then you can add the GSIN numbers, that's our goods and services identification numbers, like SKU numbers in other companies. That's where you would add this. So that's the first step you need to do when you get to the tender. That's because later on you will be adding direct deposit information that the government actually can pay you. If you're only interested in looking at the website, you don't need to register. That's when you have decided that you want to do business with the department or over the department, and it's over the threshold. For low dollar value contracts, which are paid usually by credit card, everything up to $10,000 can be paid on a government credit card. For this, you don't need to register in this system. If I'm interested now, I want to do business. I'm interested to know what's going on, what's new. So you have different tabs here you can look. Here you can look at everything that was posted in today or in the last 24 hours. And then, we do changes to some of our contracts, like add information, or a supplier had a question and they make Q&As, question and answers, so they get posted. So that's an amendment to something which has been done. Then on here, you will find everything that's active, but not divided between goods and services or services related to construction. So you have different tabs for that, depending on what you're interested in knowing. Here you also know, what's closing in the next 24 hours. So here you need to really pay attention because will be closing soon. That's everything that you have missed, everything that has expired. Here you will find everything that has been awarded. And then here we go back to the tabs which are belong to the ones above. You will have services related to goods and construction. So if I just now we go in and look at one, which is right on the right time, snow cleaning services. So you will see what's when you look at it and look, oh, I want to bid on it, but when is the closing time? So you have to look at this, and very important, not only look at the date, but look at the time of closing and the time zone, which is very important. You will see sometimes it's east, sometimes it's Pacific. So if it's Pacific, it gives you, and you're back east, it gives you more time to complete your submission. So it's really important to not only look at the date, but also look at the time and the time zone. If you're a minute late, you're a minute late for it. And here you will, when you go down, they all look the same. It's a basic format, so you will always see the same. Here you will see a short description of what is being asked, of what the government is looking for, what the estimated value is. And here, very importantly, it says there's no security requirement associated with this requirement. Sometimes you will see that they ask you for a security requirement. So they will ask you if you have a security clearance for your company or yourself. So if you see, oh, I don't have a security clearance, then you need to get in touch with the procurement officer for the specific tender as soon as you can to initiate that step. So in this case, we know that the procurement officer is down here, and you can contact the procurement officer by email and or by phone. They will typically also write out that there's a period where you can ask questions of the supplier. You go through, you read the bidding document, and you see something is unclear. So you have a question when you're in doubt about what something means. Please get in touch with the procurement officer. He's the only one who can answer your questions for that specific tender. So if you have a doubt about something, don't speculate. It could mean this or that. Please get in touch with the supplier. Also, you need to read. That's a bad example because it's a new one. Let's go to something that has expired so I can show what I mean. So over the period when a tender is posted, so here down here with amendment 00, this means it's the original document. That's where you see the whole tender document. Then 001 means there have been some amendments, and you see it had 6 amendments, this one. So before you answer, you send in your submission, it is really important that you read all the documents, that you go through all amendments. You may miss a really important information in one of the document and amendments. Also, if suppliers had questions, if something was unclear and other suppliers had questions ahead of you and have contacted the contracting officer to answer the question, they will be posting the answers. So you will find answers to some of the questions in those amendments. Also, sometimes feedback from suppliers made that they had to do some modifications when they saw it didn't make change the way it was posted, so they had to go back and change it. So please read all the amendments. It's really important that you read all the amendments before you send in your submission, so that you're really not missing anything. So that's how the first page of such document looks like when the government comes out. Here it mentions 2 procurement officer's name. So it's really important. Here it tells you on how you need to, who you need to address your answer to. And the first thing I would read when you look at the government tender, when we see this one has, I don't know how many pages, it's 19, it's a short one, but often they have, because it's only snow removal, they can have 70, 80 pages long. So first go to Annex A, which is a statement of work. So look at the statement of work. Is that something, and then ask yourself, is that something you can deliver? Is that something you would need a partner? Is that something you're actually interested in doing? And if you need a partner, who can I take as a partner to be with? With whom do I need to JV to build a joint venture to actually perform this? Can I do it on my own? Am I interested in? Then that's the first question. Before you read the 70 or 80 pages, go to the statement of work, look at the statement of work. And then the next thing is look at if it has a security requirement. Does it need a security man? Do I need to be registered and with the security folks as a business? Do they need to have a security clearance from my employees? If yes, and you know you don't have it because you haven't done business with the government before, get in touch with the procurement officer as soon as you can to initiate the first steps of it. It's a lengthy process. It can take up to a few months to get to have your clearance. And in some cases, it will tell you that the contract will be awarded once you have the clearance. So in any case, if it says you need the security clearance, you know you don't have it, start the steps as soon as you can. Other thing, if they ask you to submit your bid a certain way, please submit it the way they ask you to do it. If they tell you print it on a blue page, send it in on blue paper, send it in blue paper, even if you think it doesn't make sense to you. It's important that you follow the instruction the way they want to see it. If you don't do it, it may mean that you get screened out. So please follow the instructions of when they tell you to do something a certain way, do it that certain way. Next thing to look at is the mandatory criteria. If you see that you fulfill all the mandatory criteria and you're interested in that opportunity, submit your proposal. If you see, oh, I'm missing half of the mandatory criteria, but you think the mandatory criteria, like it says, you need 7 years of experience, you have 6. Then I will get in touch with the procurement officer, see if there's something that can be amended. If not, then if they tell you, no, that's the reason why it needs to be 7 and you only have 6, then you don't fulfill that criteria. So if you see that you're not fulfilling the mandatory criteria, then there's no need to submit because you would not get to the next stage in the process. Let's look what, that's the wrong one. I want to look at one of, so we see that here the amendment was to extend the time in this case. And here there was a question of a supplier asking about a change, if that's acceptable. And the answer was yes, in this case. So it's really important that you go through all the information that is shared with you so that you go all through all 6 amendments before you would have handed in your bid for this specific solicitation. Again, here was an extension. You would have missed that. You would have actually gotten more time to submit. So what else do I find on this? So that's the main website we have. What else do I find here? Interesting to you could be also procurement data, because here you can find historical contract data. Where is it? Contract history. So here you can do your own evaluation about who won a certain contract for certain goods or services. You can drill it down and look who got it, and it's downloadable in Excel format. So if you're well versed in Excel, or you have someone in your team who is good at Excel, you can drill down, see your size your competition, who got which contracts. That's for everything that has been posted on Buy and Sell. So, but I was mentioning those JSON codes. So now you want to know what codes would relate to what you're doing, what your goods or services related to goods would be. So you can drill down. Let's just go goods. Just add it. We're moving around our website since we are slowly moving to maybe we can find, maybe I will do it this way. I will ask you, what type of industry are you in? What goods or services do you have for sale? See if we have some information in the chat. No. So assume that we are in woodworking machinery or an equipment. Then you can drill down and look for it. So that would be this. It would be the code which you would find. When we go back, we go to expire. Just go back to this one. That's not a good example because I can't see it. Actually, here we can. So when can you see this number here? JSON code, that's where you would see what it actually is. And this one, those JSON codes, you can also add them to your registration. When you register your business, you can add, they will ask you to add JSON codes. That's where you go and look for them. So in what industries are you in? So So we can make the search relevant to you. Do we have a volunteer?
Land surveying,
Sorry.
Tyrell has suggested land surveying.
Okay, then let's go. So we can either drill down here. So you see, it's not always straightforward. So one way of doing it is going what we do now, looking through all those. So that would be one way of looking for it. And the other one we just.
I think it's usually under architecture and engineering. Oh, maybe not.
So the other way of doing it would be. Surveying and mapping, but that's the instruments itself. So those ones you will see will be often also be under informatics professional services. But before you can actually register yourself in Pro Service, which would be the next step, you need to, because we have sub databases after the main database, which we looked at the beginning. So once you have your business procurement number, then you go back and register for the other parts. So once you have done this, which we went through at the beginning, because you need, once you have done this, you can go to the next step of registering to the other databases. But first you need to go there because you need the procurement business number, which is generated from going through the process we looked at the beginning. You will need that one to then register yourself in the sub databases like Pro Services for like geomatics, land surveying, business consulting, IT consulting. There's 160 streams in it where you can put your company in. Or select, which is everything related to construction.
Christoph has made a suggestion in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
He's found the location, I think it's T019AA, Land Surveying Services.
T01.
9AA.
So it'd still be under services. So for this, you will be adding this and audit services. You can add all this when you register your business, all those numbers to your registration so that the government procurement officers can see what when they go in the system, they can see that you have that. And then you, after, in this, like I said, in the second stage, you need to go back in and to pro services, and then you can register yourself there. When you're looking at opportunities, so can I also generate a feed to your email account and look at this work. Page. Interested in this one, like snow remover, but I don't want to go to the system and look every single time or a few times a day if there have been updates, if someone put in an update on that. So what can I do? And that's typically a service I'm interested in providing. So you can either go here, notification, that you get notified by email. Then you add your email in it. I'm only interested in this tender or everything related to a tender like this. Then it will ask you for a simple math question because I want to make sure that you're actually a person, not a robot. And then you click on submit. Or if you prefer, you get an RSS feed or an Atom feed. That's a three possibilities you have to follow opportunities without you having to go in the system every single day and check manually. So now I know about that I need to register. If I want to do business and it's a big tender, I need to register and all that. But what if I'm interested in the smaller dollar contracts? So for the smaller dollar contracts, That's where you as a business need to be more active. It's a little bit more work in researching. Whereas on the larger dollar contracts, you have to wait until it's posted on the website you're just looking at, but then you need to be active. That's when you then have to fill it. So for the lower dollar contracts, there's different ways of going on it. It's like to advertise you to the government. So there's one thing, we have a government directory where you find all people like me on it. So think about who within government could be your client. So I'm using my personal laptop, so I'm seeing now exactly what you would see if you would do the search. I'm not using my government laptop because sometimes on the government laptops you get a different view and you can access certain things you cannot from the outside. So now I'm exactly like everyone else from outside of government. Now, maybe Daniel could be interested in what I'm selling. So and here you see the structure. You see that I'm part of Public Services and Procurement Canada. I'm in the Pacific region, and I'm in the Office of Small and Medium Enterprise. Maybe I can sell it to someone else in the same team. Then you see, if you find here, click on the team, and you see everyone else who is part of the team. So if I try to sell goods and service, if I'm trying to sell whatever I have to one of the guys, then always look if you get in touch first with a manager, director. Usually those people have, or supply specialists, usually those people have the authority to spend and buy. Or you can drill down by department. You won't find a lot of names if you look for National Defense, Navy, Coast Guard, or if you're looking for doing business with the RCMP, you won't find a lot of names for security reasons. But we can help you get in touch with those people. So if you're interested in one of more specialized team, you want to sell them, we can help you get in touch with those guys. Let's see if we want Construction Canada, do some construction. It's very slow today. We had some big issues with our system this morning. I couldn't access an email, so everything seems to be very slow today. Even in the external view. So that's one way of it. If you're going up to is drill down this way through the government directory, find out who in government could be interested in your goods or services you have to sell. If you, after what we were looking before, the larger dollar contracts with, I don't really have everything I need. So you could be a subcontractor to one of the large, look at the big contract and say, actually, I provide parts of that huge contract, I can do that. So look at the people who have gotten those big contracts, because often attached to it is that they have to engage with small businesses. So go and look who won those big contracts. Then look at the supply portals they have. Register yourself with them to become a subcontractor to them. Then you will be working also on government contracts, but in an indirect fashion, but you will still be doing business for the government. or with the government, if that's what you want to do. That's another strategy, is to go and look at the big players for like in D&D, if you see those big submarine contracts, but you have some stuff you could provide to it, look at becoming a subcontractor of one of those, what the government calls a prime contractor. Like for the national shipyards, then we have here, like it would be, come on, like C-SPAN in Vancouver would be for the West Coast. That's where you can register yourself as a supplier with them. Then you will be working on the national shipping strategy. You will work building all the big things. Now my question to you is there a specific part of procurement with Canada you're interested to know or to see? Does anyone volunteer? No volunteers? So are there different ways of contracting with the government of Canada? Yes, there's a small low dollar values, there's the big dollar values. And with there will be single contracts, there will be standing offers, there will be supply arrangements for stuff we buy on a frequent basis. So first you register as a supplier, then you look to get on a standing offer or supply arrangement, or you start bidding on individual contracts. Do we have any volunteer?
Christoph has written Nunavut.
Unfortunately, I'm in the other part of Canada, so I'm not really well versed. But I can put you in touch with my colleagues if you want to. Who would be very local to it, who could talk to you about doing business in Nunavut with the government of Canada. If that's what you want me to do, I'm glad to introduce you to my colleagues.
There's a few suggestions in the chat. Jack asks about an example of consultative files around leadership and business training. And Angela is asking about water management. And Daryl is asking about contacts for Atlantic Canada. That's quite a few, but if you can just kind of look at a couple of those.
When you say Atlantic Canada, what do you mean, like Office of Small and Medium Enterprise or our department in general?
They're asking about Nova Scotia specifically. I'm not sure, probably either or.
If you, unfortunately, I seem not be able to see the chat from where I am.
Yeah, Daryl is asking about Atlantic Canada, specifically Nova Scotia, and general contact info.
So what I will be doing, Daryl, I will be, if you leave with Paul your email address, I will do a connecting email to my colleagues in Atlantic, so that they can do a meeting with you. And then you can tell them everything you wanted to know. I would suggest, because I'm not an expert in water management either, that I take down your contact information, and then I get in touch with you.
I've typed in my email address in the chat for everyone. If you want to do a follow-up with Daniel, just send me a quick email and I'll forward it along to Daniel.
Because these ones are really specific questions, so it's best to send it to Paul or to me, so that I can do the research and give it a correct answer. And if you want me to connect you with other people in government, like Daryl one, please let Paul and myself know, and I will do the connections. Unfortunately, I cannot see the chat. I must have another version of.
It should be a little bubble next to the share screen. It says chat, and you click on that and you'll see the dialogue.
It doesn't show up on mine.
Okay. Well, we're trying, I've sent out my email address and.
Now I found it. It was hidden in another tab.
Okay, there you go. We've got about 4 or 5 minutes left. So if you reach out to me, if you copy my email address, then you'll have it. You can reach out to me anytime you like. And then I'll be sure to share that with Daniel, and we can follow up with specific contacts for your region or your requirement. And we'd hate to lose that opportunity to give you some assistance moving forward. And as a reminder, the session is recorded, and it will be shared later this afternoon as part of the webinar Wednesday, past webinar materials, and the presentation that Daniel had will also be shared on the Can-Do website.
I will be sending Paul. It's called a reference sheet, which we have, which has all the links we talked about and more. You will also get the links to contract security when you're interested to do business with the Government of Canada, and you see that there's a security requirement, and how does that work, on how the process works and how long it takes. You will have the link on it. As said, it's a lengthy process. It just takes time because there's they have a huge backlog to work on. So start the process as early as you can. It takes a few months to get through, just not from you filling the form, but just until it gets through the whole bureaucracy. And COVID hasn't made it easier, so there's a backlog there. So it takes between you handing in your security clearance request until it has been processed and you have it, it takes a few months. To answer your question, Christoph, I will hand in the send Paul the reference sheet, but also get in touch with me, and I'm glad to do a one-on-one with you, so we can go over the screen and look at one step at a time, and we can do one-on-ones. That's absolutely no problem. That's what we're here for. And we go again over all the material, and then we can tailor it exactly to what you want and what you need. I've added now my email address to the chat, so please send me an email and time suggestion on when you're available. Then Glenn has a question: is there a transition to Canada Buys? Yes, there's a transition. We had actually 1 or 2 tenders already going over Canada Buys about personal protective equipment, PPEs. So the transition period is during the next 2 years. So right now, everything will be posted on buyandsell.gc.ca. And if a trial tender goes on Canada Buys, you will find the same information on the Buy and Sell website. And yes, it's a little bit different. The Canada Buys website, it's based on SAP Ariba, so it's limited on how we can customize it. So you will need to register there first to be able to see opportunities. Whereas with the system we have now, the Buy and Sell website, you can look at every opportunity, you can look at all the data without being registered. You only need to register yourself when you decide to go and do business over our department for the larger contracts, or you want to register yourself in Pro Services, that you offer services like land surveying, business consulting, IT consulting, and there's or nursing services. There's 68 categories to register yourself. And if you have services related to construction, there's also a SAP database after you have registered yourself. It's called Select, and there are some other SAP databases. But to get in those, you first need to get your procurement business number. So you need to register yourself as a supplier. And for that, you will need the GST or HST tax number plus the name which is associated to that number. And when you type it in, please, if you have a space somewhere, put the space exactly at the same spot. Or if you have an accent, put the accent in. Just really copy it one-to-one to how it's registered. Otherwise, it says that the registration is non-compliant because it's getting checked electronically in the system, so the number and the name don't match. Then it gets a delay, and then you will. Sometimes it's a 24-hour delay because someone has to manually be able to do the changes in the back. Yes, everyone who is registered in the database as a supplier will get notified that when you need to migrate from Buy and Sell to the new system, to Canada Buys, everyone there will be informed. The government will be put up, our department will put up information on our buyandsell.gc website. So you will be notified. We are here with everyone. We are in touch. We notify. We're in touch with Can-Do all the time. So we will be notifying Can-Do as well, as soon as we get the information that it's slowly made. I don't know if you can download all the GC numbers, but you will find everything on the buyandsell.gc website. That's where you will find all the GSIN numbers, and you can drill down. Sometimes try it out with a keyword. If you have a keyword, use the keyword first. Sometimes it's easier that way.
Okay, very good. You've got the contact information for Daniel and myself. Please use that. Otherwise, we're going to draw this webinar to a close. And thank you, Daniel, for sharing his knowledge and his access with us. And we hope that at the very least, you're encouraged to consider taking part in this, and know that you have some resources to assist you in doing that. And as a final reminder, the recording and any materials that Daniel has will be available at edo.ca at the Links to Learning tab button under Webinar Wednesday. So I saw that there was one more question, I think.
Andrew has asked the question if we will have other webinars like this. We will have different webinars. We will have again. Of course, we are partnered with Candu. We will do webinars all the time, and we're glad to do it. And please get in touch with me. Send me an email. You want to know about this and this and this. We can meet. We can tailor it to you, to your business, or to your sole proprietorship. Please don't be shy. Get in touch. And sometimes things, when you look at the website, there's so much information on it, you don't know where to start. So we can help you with that.
Yeah, and we're working with Daniel and OSME to develop another webinar, hopefully scheduled sometime in March, and before the end of March, and we'll be in touch via our e-newsletter and our social media feeds to advise everyone on the time and date. So please keep an eye out for that. So thank you again, Daniel. Thank you all for taking time out of your busy day to spend with us. And we hope you've been informed and inspired to consider the opportunities of doing business with the Government of Canada. So take care. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much for participating.
Okay, bye now.
Bye.